Hello and welcome to today's YouTube video. Today we're going over my second game from my tournament that I played on Monday, which is 2 days ago. So yeah, I had white again, which was pretty lucky of me since I played 3 games a night. So white 2 times in a row is quite nice. So yeah, I played the Jabab in London, and my opponent played the same setup that my opponent played in the first round, and I just played e3, which I learned yesterday that Nerditsky doesn't actually recommend it. He recommends e4, so I'm still learning that, so I didn't play that, and I didn't know that at the time of the tournament, so I just played the modest e3. Now, my opponent plays e6, which is a little bit passive since it blocks in his bishop, and I simply develop my knight to f3, even though I had the opportunity to go knight b5. I don't know why I missed this opportunity. Usually I'm pretty, I look for this quite often, but I don't know why I didn't see it here. I mean, it's obviously able to be played. You can go knight a6, but I still have a good position now. And this kind of just goes back to the normal London setup, but it's still a good setup since his knight is weirdly placed on a6. But yeah, I go for a more normal setup, and I put my knight on e5. I don't know why I did this, honestly. I wasn't particularly prepared for this, so I was kind of just playing random stuff, to be honest. I honestly didn't know what I was doing here. This is not very good play by me, and my opponent kind of just punishes me right away. So yeah, he's just developing very normally, castles, and I play b3 to try and open up my bishop, but this gets quite shut down quite quickly by queen a5. Now I just go along with my original idea here and go knight a4, which is bad since my knight doesn't actually have anywhere to go. This square is covered twice, so going forward is nonsensical here. And my opponent just takes on e5. I take back with the bishop, because if I take with the pawn, he wants to go here anyways, so I don't really understand why I'm helping him do that. But yeah, maybe I should have taken with the pawn. I don't know. I think taking with the bishop is better, and the computer agrees with me. But yeah, knight back to d7, and I just drop my bishop all the way back to g3. And then my opponent strikes with b5, knocking my knight away, and I play knight b2. And my opponent just has a wonderful advantage here. It's about -1. I definitely did not play the opening very well, and you can tell because of how cramped my position is. I don't really have any clear moves. My bishop is useless. My knight is also useless. It can't really go anywhere right now. So I have a lot of work to do here. So yeah, I strike with a4. I just need to chip away at something, and a4 seemed like the clearest option. And my opponent plays queen back to b6, and I play queen b1 because I want to make space for my knight to come back in the game somehow. There's no particular idea to putting it on b1, which isn't very smart, but I didn't really know what I was doing here. So my opponent goes f5, which is a mistake. And for some reason, I didn't think at all here. My opponent was playing really fast, and I just really quickly played f4, which is a terrible move. It completely shuts down my great bishop. I don't know why I played f4. It was a garbage move. It gives my opponent the e4 square. I don't have control of the e5 square with my knight, so there's no reason I should be playing f4 here, and it's just a completely garbage move. So yeah, my opponent immediately capitalizes it and played knight f6. It calls it a miss because it wants rook c8, protecting the c4 pawn. Yeah, computer really wants me to take on c4. I'm not particularly sure why. I guess I just need to open up something. But yeah, I take, because now he moved his bishop off, his rook off of the a file, so I want to control the a file with my rook instead, since he just gave control of it away. So yeah, I play knight back to d1, try to get it back in the game, something along these lines. I'm not particularly sure, but at least it's starting to get into the right position. So yeah, my opponent actually makes a pretty bad move here with c3. I don't know why he made this move, because it just immediately gives my knight a path to d3. By the way, computers are calling these misses, but look at the moves it's giving. It's saying bishop h3. Why am I playing bishop h3? Makes no sense. So yeah, my opponent plays a bad move again, b4. I don't know why he did that either. So yeah, I just put my knight on to d3. Again, computer's calling it a miss. I don't know why this is so good. It's probably a pretty deep reason, but I wasn't calculating that well in this tournament. So I was just playing kind of normal moves, and yeah. So yeah, my opponent plays bishop a6 here, which is kind of just crushing. And for some reason here, I kind of just went crazy. I did this on purpose, and I went knight e5. And you may notice my knight was pinned to my rook. It was pinned to my rook, and I just did a bad sacrifice exchange. I thought I had compensation since my knight is kind of strong on e5, but if you look closely at all, he can remove my knight with bishop d6, knight d7 eventually. My knight just isn't good at all. It's not enough for the rook, especially with open a file. I need rooks to control the open a file. And my opponent kind of just immediately capitalizes on that with rook to a8. And now I find bishop h4 to activate my bishop. It's kind of just staring into nothing and has no prospects like going all the way back. So I move it to h5, or h4 I mean. So he takes, I take back the queen, and my opponent goes queen to b7, preparing rook to a8, and also knight to d7. And I kind of just can't do anything about it. Like, I'm just completely screwed here. And I try and move my queen over to the king side. Maybe I get an attack eventually, but if you look closely at the position, I have no play ever anywhere, and I should be resigning. Like, literally, I should resign in this position. This position is resignable. I have nothing, and I don't think I'm ever going to have anything in this position. So my opponent plays a brilliant move, knight back to d7. The reason this is brilliant is because if I take his bishop, and he takes my knight, discovering my bishop, and also the knight attacks my bishop with check. So I have to recapture the knight, and if I take the knight, then just queen takes it. Now the bishop is protected. Yeah. I find the best move here, knight d3, preserving the piece that I sacrificed a rook for, which is just, it wasn't a good decision. I should have actually had reasons that I sacrificed my knight rather than, oh, it looks active and I have compensation. Like, those aren't good reasons at all. Yeah, so yeah, he took my bishop because trading is good when you're up material, and you may notice he's up a full exchange, so trading is definitely good for him, especially with the open a file. And then he puts his knight on f6, preparing either knight to e4 or just, preventing my queen from getting into his position. So yeah, I played knight c5, attacking the queen, putting pressure on the e6 pawn, and yeah, he plays queen to f7, just bringing his queen over to the king side. Maybe you can put your queen onto g6, attacking this pawn, and just having good ideas in that regard. So yeah, I played g4 here. I don't really know what to do. I have nothing in this position, so I'm just like, okay, whatever. I just kind of need to do something. So I played g4 to try and maybe attack, eventually, but I'm never ever getting an attack here. And my opponent just plays absolutely perfectly here, rook c1. And at this point, I'm just kind of giving up. I mean, there's no chance for me to win this game. This guy is insanely good, and he's playing really fast too. So I'm down on time, I'm down on the board, and I basically have no moves. So yeah, I'm just kind of like, what do I do? There's nothing for me to do here. So yeah, he takes my pawn with check, and I go back to e1, which is just another bad decision. And he goes queen to e7, and I try to block his queen from getting into my position with knight back to a4. You may notice it's really passive here, so yeah, this is just kind of terrible. But he was threatening mate, so I didn't really have a choice. So yeah, knight back to a4, he gives a check around my king, and he plays queen to e6, and I'm getting mated here. I mean, it's just mate. I can't really do anything about it. The top move is queen takes f6, but yeah, I just take because I know I'm getting mated. But yeah, he plays queen check, I go up, and he wins my queen, but also threatens mate with king to h2 and mate. So yeah, that was my second round. It was pretty rough. That's what I get for not knowing what I'm doing in the opening, or not even trying to punish my opponent for playing slightly inaccurately. But yeah, I deserve it. It's a learning experience. He's higher rated than me, so it's not like it was unexpected. I just prefer to win, as most people would. But yeah, I played the opening inaccurately. My position got really passive. So it was just an overall bad game by me. But yeah, let's check the accuracy. I had an accuracy of 72.7, and my opponent had an accuracy of 86.0. He had a brilliant move, so good job to my opponent. And I had an estimated rating of 1650, which kind of sucks. And my opponent had an estimated rating of 2100. But yeah, my opponent played really well, and I just played kind of inaccurately. But yeah. Thanks for watching today's video. Don't forget to leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.